Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Talkative Bunch podcast. The day is May 6th, 2020. I'm joined by Austin, Morgan, and Jake, and today's topic is conspiracy theories.
Oh, that is you.
It's me.
Just make sure it's.
I gotta make sure I'm doing it correctly.
Make sure it's not like the copyrighted thing.
So I think the best way to do this is just let Austin start. What are your conspiracy theories?
So excited.
Bam, boom, MKULTRA.
What's that?
Basically, back in the Cold War, the U.S. was...
When was the Cold War?
That's a great question.
Wasn't that the one that was in Russia? Cause
Because it was
winter
really
time.
cold. Right.
Yeah.
Cold War was between the USSR and America.
You didn't answer my
That was
question.
65 through
65 through like
87.
No. It was like 50. It was during the 50s, too.
No.
No, because it was.
No, it was 65 because it was part of Generation
Does anyone
X.
know it?
I did.
But in Indiana Jones and Kingdom of the Crystal
Okay,
Skull...
shut up
up,
about Indiana
dude.
Jones.
It was directly following World War II, and it ended with the collapse of the USSR in the 90s.
Right.
Okay, Morgan's right.
U.S.
I know nothing.
I knew from the beginning.
U.S. versus USSR, Cold War, not actually a war.
In Cuba.
It was more of an arms race. And Cuba.
Well, it was Russia and Cuba.
And U.S. and Turkey.
Sorry, I'm wearing my history hat.
History hat.
Ooh.
Captain of History.
Okay.
The
basically,
SS history.
basically, the U.S. by spies found out USSR was trying to do mind control things. So then the U.S. started. U.S. was really aggressive with it. They went down a bunch of paths such as hypnosis.
Sorry, I felt like
medical comas where they would like put someone under and then replay a message. Like there's this thing where they made the lady like they put this lady
Which
in a
lady?
coma. I don't know her
Give a
name.
name?
I don't know. It was classified, declassified. I
All
don't
right.
know.
Claretta.
Yes, Janet.
That's Jeanette.
That's Jeanette. Hi,
Yeah,
Jeanette.
This is Janet.
Oh, okay. Jeanette and Janet. I got you. Right.
Then they played that you killed your son over and over again while she was in the coma, and then when she woke up from the coma, she thought she killed her son. And
do it.
the biggest part was them
did
using
she?
LSD on unwilling people to see if they could
That's kind of fun.
mind control through them.
Yeah,
That's
messed
the
up.
that's the main thing through all this is that some of the participants, yes, were like voluntary, but a lot of them were just prisoners who they just kind of took into separate rooms. We're like, hey,
Take this drug.
I honestly don't even believe they were like that. Like, hear me out. What I'm saying. No.
You're wrong.
No, I believe you, but I'm saying like I don't think they would be telling them like they're giving them a drug. I think they maybe like just like accidentally, not accidentally.
Well, if you remember-
unwilling, so they knew what was happening,
Right.
Because they didn't want it.
And
to
they
Well,
happen.
maybe they were like not accidentally fed, but like tricked into eating or something
Or
like
like
that.
Black Mirror Bandersnatch when if you choose spoiler alert.
I didn't watch it.
it was so.
Well,
long
it's
ago.
like it was
It
like
doesn't
the
matter.
it was the interactive
It was
thing
like
where you
choose
could like
your own.
press
Yeah.
buttons.
If you didn't
Whatever.
watch it by now, you're
If you
dumb.
get to the part with LSD, you can choose to take it or don't take it. You get it either way because he slips it in your coffee.
right.
So
Really?
yeah, so something like that.
That's-
yeah.
yeah.
Like, you want this LSD or this coffee? I want the coffee. Oh, yeah.
So basically,
Oh, I bet you do.
basically, this all came to light by some people coming forwards.
Flashlights.
Wait, what'd you say?
How you bring
Oh,
things to life.
flashlights.
Urine.
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 No.
DNA. Uranus.
RNA.
Urine.
RNA.
RNA.
Urine.
Ribonucleic acid.
Messenger RNA.
I
RNA. What's
said
RNA?
ribonucleic
The
acid.
USSR?
Yeah.
What?
Okay, so basically,
Never mind.
this,
This
all,
is back on track.
this all came to light during the Freedom Protection Act, and right before that passed, the main people were like, "Hey, let's burn all these files." So they burned most of the files before that, and then in 2008 and 2018, they became declassified, and so we learned a lot more about them then.
So like,
Um,
there's a couple of things
Is-
regarding
is the Zoom
MKUltra.
still okay? Is it still like panned correctly? Oh, all right.
There's a couple of things because I've heard about MKUltra before, and like me like being played like Call of Duty and like Black Ops and things like that. And
Why would you be
also-
played
he's a
like
war
Call of
expert?
Duty?
No.
Fabian, residential war.
Oh no, you know that if you were a real soldier, you wouldn't just respawn when you died.
What an idiot.
Sorry, side
Get a load of
tangent.
this guy.
Side tangent. When I was like 9 and played Roblox, I had a conversation. Yeah, I don't know. Whenever I was young and
Whenever
there
it
was
was big.
Roblox, I played it. I don't, maybe just like a summer long of it. Anyways, but yes, I was having a conversation with this guy, me being a child, and this guy being hypothetically probably 3 years older than me. I said I wanted to be a soldier in war, just like Call of Duty, and he said, "Yeah, but in real war, you wouldn't just respawn." And honestly, that was the best piece of advice I had ever gotten in my entire life at that point. So I just didn't. I no longer wanted to be a soldier.
Right.
Okay.
So I didn't want to die.
That's
I wouldn't
I have come
respawn.
this close to enlisting in the army in the past month and a half.
I think we
Just
all.
'cause-
I
just
think
'cause.
feel like everyone got to kind of that point. It was like,
Well, I
is
almost went
college
to the Air
worth it?
Force when we were in high school.
I almost went
And then
to
I was
the
like,
Navy.
yeah, I'm too tall to fly some of the planes, so I'm like, that's not.
I have never even considered.
You just said you did consider.
So going back
You just said
to
you wanted to be a soldier.
I meant realistically,
I know.
not as a child.
so if you
All right,
guys
I
were
did-
sleeper soldiers like the MKULTRA program,
Right.
what would be your trigger phrase?
Pee pee poo poo.
In what context is someone gonna exactly?
The
No,
Pee
no,
pee
this is
poo
what
poo,
they
man.
That'd be the
used
best
to
code
do. When they were testing it, they had these normal people, and they just call them up on the phone. They'd be like, "Hello," and then the government person would be like, "Zebelo poco," and then they'd be like,
Was that French?
"I don't."
When did you learn to speak
Months,
French?
Yeah.
Oh, français. Oh, français. Allons-y.
No, have you guys seen the movie American Ultra?
Nope.
No, but I looked at it.
It's with Jesse Eisenberg, and it's the same
Toy
concept
Story
of this.
3.
No, it's the same concept
Here's
of
why
this.
Toy Story 3
Kristen
uses
Stewart's in
LSD
it.
to-
Kristen Stewart is in it as well as Jesse Eisenberg, right?
And
That's his name.
Colin Dylan Sprouse.
Yeah. And
Selena Gomez,
yeah.
All the original Disney.
Conan O'Brien.
Yeah.
All right. Also, another tangent. Did you know that Macaulay Culkin used to be married to Mila Kunis for like a long time?
Wait. How did we go from NK Ultra to that? But I like where you're heading, so continue.
I'm sorry. We will continue that in the Shoot the Shit episode recorded after this. So
That's
look for
true.
that.
So
in
go
the
to
next
that.
one.
Yeah.
We probably won't remember. but
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing
I'll
for the
write
next
it down.
episode.
Write
It's
it down
written
right now.
down.
Purple now.
I just
Write
wrote
it
it down
down.
in my brain.
All right.
Alright.
Continue. Sorry.
No, but like in the movie, like when they wake up the agent, I think in my mind it's just a list of like numbers and or like phrases that they say. Like in the movie, it was literally just like Echo Bravo Delta 70 has gone rogue. Engage.
Well, that would be
Epsilon
their
D.
their
Oh my
spy
gosh.
name.
The Winter Soldier from Marvel.
Why did we not
Isn't
think of that?
Isn't that what he is?
He was a sleeper agent. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
my
so true.
Gosh, that's pretty much what MK Ultra is, everyone.
If anyone was confused, on
right,
what
it was
MK
just
Ultra is.
basically a super soldier that you could activate at any time and like say a code word, so they would go blow
My
up.
code word would be stop tickling my gooch.
Man, I wish I had a sleeper agent of my own.
We
And
should
I
just
could,
say a bunch
like-
of random words to you.
No, not
Oh, you
I
want
was a
your
sleeper agent. Like
own.
there was just a person in
He
my
owned
life that
one.
was the sleeper agent, and like if I was like really bored at some point, or like my mom was like dust the fan, she's never told me to do that or talk to me in that tone. I would just like call them and be like, butt sex pony horse, and they'd be like, I'll do the dusting.
I was
Right?
thinking that, but like you do it, you're like, and then they'd go get you food.
A series of just noises.
Hi,
It's
welcome
like-
to Arby's. How can I help you? How did I get here?
It'd be like, I feel like my trigger word would be like,
that's the next
my,
step for DoorDash.
my trigger phrase would be like, gosh darn, that Hungarian family's being awfully quiet. It's a phrase no one would ever say.
You just said it though.
But
Yeah, you just said it.
So therefore, you're wrong.
Now, if any sleeper agents are listening to this,
Oh
and that's their
my
phrase.
gosh. Shit.
We've woken up so many.
I like how we're
sleeper
guessing.
agents.
Wait. Conspiracy theory that I'm coming up with right now. Every sleeper agent, it's not just one phrase, it's many.
What?
You could
Elaborate.
activate one or just any of them with one of many phrases. So like you could activate. So okay, imagine you had a door with a lock, and that lock took like 80 different keys, and that unlocked the door, but every other key didn't.
Okay.
So like you could throw like one of 80 phrases at that sleeper agent, and it would wake up.
Oh,
So there would just be
so it's
random
multiple-
strings
okay.
of phrases. So we could just come up with random things right now, and there's like a 1 in 80 chance that somebody
Definitely not
listening,
1 in 80.
somebody in this room is a sleeper agent,
just
and we could wake them up.
It would be so.
We could wake them up on that.
Mega Beer Snorlax.
I just have a fear that like we'll
Sponsored by
accidentally
Bud
wake
Light
up
Snorlax.
we'll accidentally wake up a sleeper agent, and then like at our doors, like they'll
Why are
already
you
kill
afraid of
all of
this?
us, and they'll just be just
Why is this an
Здравствуйте!
actual fear of yours?
just a little bit.
That'd be crazy, though. Guys, tune in for our next podcast where we'll be running away from a sleeper agent.
That's true.
Vlog, actually.
It's gonna be a vlog. It's gonna be like
And our next guest, a sleeper agent.
We're gonna try to wake him up.
Morgan, what is your
That'd be such a
conspiracy
good-
theory?
that would be- I'd watch it.
Oh, is Austin's done?
Do you have anything
have
more to
anything
add
else?
about your MKUltra?
I just want to say that this also kind of ties into like the 5G conspiracy
Oh my god. Okay.
theory, where 5G is like just making us dumber so that the government can.
That's not fucking true.
conspiracy.
That's
theory.
not fucking true. And the people who think 5G towers causes coronavirus, that's another
That's
conspiracy
dumb.
that I've heard, where there is just like there's rallies that I see where it's people like just being like, my kids are in the car because I can't expose them to all your cell phones because all the fucking 5G. It's not real.
Birds are controlled by the government.
Hey, oh!
We'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to
Wait,
that.
is that yours?
No.
Is that one of yours?
No.
Birds
You
aren't
didn't-
real.
Okay,
just thought about it
I
now.
am subscribed to their newsletter. Not gonna legit.
I would see it. Yeah.
Their
see it
merch is
happening.
fire, by the way.
Their merch
Oh,
is
yeah, it
very
is.
good. We're not sponsored,
one
but
dude.
we just like
He runs
it.
the whole thing,
Hey, what happened to Gap?
like the store, like Gap
Yeah.
Kids and stuff.
Yeah.
Conspiracy
There's
theory.
still an outlet for it, but I don't think they have any actual stores. So it's
No, I'm
it's
pretty
just-
sure they've actually.
I've never seen a Gap store except at the outlet mall.
Wait,
Conspiracy.
Conspiracy.
Wait, where are Gap?
Gap
stores
never
at?
existed. No, there used to be Gaps everywhere, like all in the
Yeah,
malls
what
and stuff.
happened to them?
Made a lot of noise with that, buddy.
Oh, just kidding. Played ya.
Slay Joe.
Wait, what was I gonna say? There's a Gap on in Montrose, isn't there? No,
Microphone.
that's
Microphone.
5 and below.
Like
You mean Five Below?
5 below.
Montrose, the band, lead singer Sammy Hagar,
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
guitarist Ronnie Montrose.
They're all actually from Montrose. Did you guys know that? They were all born there.
No way.
That's a conspiracy theory.
In
That's
Dave's
conspiracy.
Cosby
That's a
Subs.
conspiracy theory.
I'll start eating my sub right now.
No, not to.
Austin, anything else to add?
That's about it.
Morgan, what's
Alright.
your conspiracy theory?
All right, I have two. Both are not originating from me, but things that were told to me. One is something really, really interesting, and one is something that you're really going to have to think about if you've never heard it before. So I'll start with that one.
Okay.
This has originated, for me at least, from, again, our mutual friend Greg, who we should have at some point talk about this on the show.
We should have had him.
Yeah, we planned this like 2 days ago.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
yeah, all right. Anyways, Mattress Firm. Yeah. So think about, for the listeners, think about how many Mattress Firms you've seen. And if you don't really pay attention to Mattress Firms, look up how many Mattress Firms there are in your area. Look up Mattress Firm conspiracy and see how certain people have like 4 Mattress Firms on like a single intersection in their hometown. All right. Now that you've looked that up and I've given you time to look that up, who's buying this many beds? And as a second, have you ever seen anybody in a Mattress Firm?
Yo.
You've seen cars at it, but you never see anyone in there. Sometimes you see cars at it. Usually you don't. Or if it's just like 1 or 2, like the employees. So this could lead to many different like ideas. One, which Greg brought up, is that they're a front for most likely cocaine.
Ooh. I never thought cocaine. I thought it was a front.
They fill the mattresses with cocaine.
I've heard this theory before, but I've heard the money laundering theory.
They're also
No,
money laundering, but they're on like they're on a pretty big basis. Like the IRS would have caught up to them by now.
Do you think they're dealing cocaine from?
All right, apart from the
no.
cocaine thing, that's just a theory. That's just a small theory off of the bigger theory.
Okay.
But just consider
You think
that
it's a front, just period. Like it's a front for something.
it's a front for something, and that in itself is odd. Because you never see anyone at a mattress firm. There are way too many mattress firms around for it to not be a front. And
Also,
I've never been to a mattress
mattresses last like 10 years.
I also don't think.
Yeah.
I've ever-
It's just less longer than that.
I don't even
Well, a
think I've
minimum,
ever
like,
been in a
like,
mattress.
Well,
like,
yeah.
like I would
Yeah,
say
right?
I've gotten a new the time I've been alive, which is not that long. I've
all
gotten
right, so
a new mattress.
yeah,
every
the
10
the
years.
major
okay,
times
okay.
people buy mattresses are A, when their mattress gets old and unusable. B, it's ruined or lost in a fire or something. They move into a new place and get a new mattress, or they have a child that needs a mattress. Something like that. Or they have a child who like had a twin or something, but now they outgrown it and need like a full or a
Of course,
queen
yeah.
or something like that. So somebody on their own is buying. Me as a person, I will have had, let's see, maybe 3 for myself now, and then maybe max 3 more in my life for myself, and then maybe like 2 or 3 more for like a house down the road, something like that. But
course, yeah.
I'm not buying that many mattresses. That's somewhere around 10, 12 mattresses total in my life that I'm buying that my family would buy. That's why it's so weird to me that they can be seemingly in business and have so many stores.
Well, here's the other thing. My family never buys a mattress from a mattress store. We get it from the furniture store. Because
Yeah.
a lot of places, when you buy the bed frame, you can choose to purchase a mattress from
I
the
got
too.
my
Here's the thing.
mattress in Washington from Big Lots.
We just bought 2 new beds in our guest bedrooms in my house, and
I don't
my
believe you.
mom went to Mattress Firm to buy them, and she
Really
she
tried to
said
sell her
Cut them
cocaine.
open.
she
Next vlog.
she literally said she was like, it was weird because I was the only one in the store, and I was like,
Should we call your mom and put her through the thing so we can talk to her?
she's
think
at,
so.
she's at work, I think.
Who cares? She's a nurse. They're not doing anything right now. Put her on the phone.
Also, shout out to all the nurses.
Arguably
out
the
to
most
all the
important job right now.
Shout out to all the nurses.
Besides
and all
food
the-
delivery and
All-
groceries and
All health card people, nice job.
Health
Shout
car?
out.
First
Doing great.
responders.
Round of applause.
Health car.
that's called a hospital, Austin. I mean,
Ambulance.
What's your other conspiracy theory?
Okay.
Is there anything?
Oh,
he's whipping out the
oh.
phone, ladies and gentlemen.
that's because I have to read this one.
Oh wait.
No. That's
Oh, okay.
I will do that though. All right, I have so my friend Jack sent me Coral Castle. First of all, I thought in my head we were planning this episode, and I thought, okay, I'm not just gonna go and research some conspiracy theories. I'm just gonna ask someone who knows way too many conspiracy theories because that's one of their things or whatever. Like, who do I ask that's really into that shit? And I just immediately thought of my friend Jack, and he delivered. He sent me like 8 or 9, like really detailed. He sent links, pictures, like full, like as he called it, word barfs of like each one. It was great.
Oh my god.
The guy is awesome. So Coral Castle. So it's a place in Florida, and I'm just gonna read what he sent me. Coral Castle is another crazy one. It's a monolithic structure built by one guy in Florida using the techniques that the Egyptians supposedly used to build the pyramids. There is an account of these teens that snuck onto his property and saw him moving a 240-ton block of coral rock like a balloon just with his hands and a perpetual motion
Wait,
device.
what?
Yeah.
He just picked it up, just like he
Yeah,
just lifted
with
it.
a
What the
perpetual motion device, and even more. And no, that was the second one. But anyways, I wanna pass around a picture. So that's just some of the coral rocks that he just built by himself over a 20-year
see this.
period.
Yo,
We'll put this in
what
the
the
video
fuck?
somewhere.
Yeah, I'll put a link in the
clip it.
description.
What the fuck?
But then I looked it up.
What the fuck?
Oh, this place is kind of pretty though.
Oh, it is. So it's a museum. And I'll just read the
number
Wikipedia
3.
page just to kind of give it a so Carroll Castle is an oolite limestone structure created by the Latvian American eccentric Edward Leedskalnin, 1887-1951. That's when he lived. It is located in an unincorporated territory of Miami-Dade, Florida, between the cities of Homestead and Leisure City. The structure comprises numerous megalithic stones, mostly limestone, formed from coral, each weighing several tons. He did this by himself. in the 20s to 50s.
My
So
man's
okay, you're
super
telling me
strong.
he used the techniques from the ancient Egyptians. then.
Yes, supposedly.
Damn. All right.
And that's how he built the whole thing by himself. Huge tons.
Yeah, I
like
saw pictures,
several
that's crazy.
100-ton pieces of coral rocks. He just moved around by himself.
Hell yeah, dude.
Jesus.
So that's crazy.
I
And then
don't trust this man.
yeah, but it's crazy and it's actually really pretty and it's a museum right now. So if you're
It said that he
listening in
was
Florida,
5 feet tall and weighed 100 pounds.
He's like 5 foot flat.
That's what
Yeah.
it says. Edward Leedskian. How'd you say it? Whatever. Who stood? It said 5 feet tall and weighed 100 pounds.
That's crazy.
And he was just moving these giant rocks.
yeah. And then I have one more. I want to talk about the BeatlesNeverExisted.com.
Oh my god, that was my
You have that
first
one?
one.
And then Paul McCartney is dead.
That was my second one. I got one. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Did you talk about Avril Lavigne?
What the fuck?
No,
Holy
actually,
shit,
this is a conspiracy theory in itself.
What about Eminem
Paul
is
is dead.
multiple people?
Yes.
What the fuck?
How'd you get that picture? Oh, you fucking idiot.
Nice.
God damn it.
I took a picture of his book.
Oh,
That's what me
oh
and
my
Florence laughed
god.
about earlier.
All right, all right. All right, we're still going to talk
That's
about
a
them.
good transition.
Yeah, because none of them had descriptions.
Yeah, no, I just memorized it up in here, and I have one more on my phone right now.
Okay, cool.
So the Beatles,
We lost this footage.
so the Beatles never existed, and if you look at pictures and stuff, like their physical shape of their teeth change, the size of their eyebrows change, obviously their hair changes, their heights differ a lot, and they think that people were saying that the only reason they could create that much mass hysteria is if there was several dozen of them, or they're all on amphetamines all the time.
I believe the amphetamines.
They were probably on amphetamines.
I've heard a
at that
lot of
point.
stories about them and amphetamines, dude.
I believe that.
The other one is that. What are you doing? The other one's that Paul McCartney is dead.
He's not real. He's a ghost.
He was in a bad car accident. He got that scar. He grew the mustache for Sgt. Pepper's.
But they all did.
Yeah, I know. So that's where the switch happened. So you know the song. Which one is it? I think it's
Penny Lane.
no, not Penny Lane.
Hell.
Is it off Sgt. Pepper?
It's on. I think it's a
Let
title
It
track when
Be.
they go Billy Shears.
Hey Jude.
That was a real guy.
That's
and
just
if you
yeah,
look up
title
pictures
track.
of him, he looks exactly like Paul McCartney.
I know another guy who looks exactly like
I'm gonna
Paul
look him
McCartney.
I read that one in a book. I didn't find that one online.
That's really interesting. In what book?
I can't remember.
the Beatles.
The Beatles in Encyclopedia. No,
Ringo
so
told me.
there's a band from the 60s/70s. They sound a lot like the Beatles. They ran around the same circles as the Beatles. Some of their stuff was produced by George and Paul. Badfinger, bring them up. Great band. Really, really tragic story if you want to get into that. Three of them ended up committing suicide by the end of the 70s, and they were really just screwed over from their producers. One guy didn't kill himself. His name is escaping me right now. I've seen him. This is literally one of my favorite musicians, and I'm just completely forgetting what's his name.
Who?
Hold on. I guess I have to look this up because I am just.
What band was he in again?
Badfinger.
Oh shoot! I don't
Yeah,
know.
you're not gonna know
What's your
Badfinger.
guys' favorite Beatles song? As Morgan looks up this name.
Joey Molland.
That's
so
my
I
favorite
knew
Beatles
that.
song.
And
I,
I didn't say it
so look up
because I forgot.
Joey Molland.
You just look it up.
Listeners too, look up Joey Molland. Look up Joey Molland young, and then look up Joey Molland old, and then look up Paul McCartney young and Paul McCartney old. You will see that they look almost exactly similar, and Paul even wrote one of their most famous songs. Yeah, and I had never heard
I
this
can-
before. I learned this. I literally learned this by myself by looking up Joey Molland, and I'm like, hey, that guy looks a lot like Paul McCartney. And then even Joey Molland now looks exactly like Paul McCartney now. It's really, really weird.
There was another. I heard like the Paul's dead theory on another thing was on the Beatles famous album Abbey Road, because he was barefoot. That's because he was dead. Like someone said that was the theory.
Shit.
Yeah, and then
I mean, I can see some difference, but like
but not like
it's
big.
really close.
Yeah.
Really close.
In
Yeah,
Strawberry Fields, like some people say they can hear them saying Paul's dead.
There was another one. I can't remember what song. I read it when I was reading this. That there's one that says "Come get me, dead man," and they're referring would be to Paul. So yeah, the real Paul McCartney's dead, and Billy Shears is now today's Paul McCartney.
The one and only Billy Shears.
The one and only Billy Shears replaced the one and only Paul McCartney. So
Exactly.
and that's why Paul McCartney's. So he had two original Hofner basses that he used, and it's because he's buried with one. And that's why they never found it.
Oh, I like that. That's a good theory.
Where's he buried?
Probably like Westminster Abbey
Anyway.
on like an unmarked grave, if I had to guess.
I don't think they'd put an unmarked grave in Westminster Abbey. And also,
him, they
if
do.
Paul died, they definitely would not have told Westminster Abbey and then buried him there because somebody would leak that shit.
Right.
They would bury him somewhere on his estate.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Where's Freddie
Vlog number
buried?
4.
Where's Freddie Mercury buried? From my memory, his ex-wife before he came out, he was he left most or everything to her, but his ashes she took and buried somewhere unknown because they didn't want anybody defacing the grave. And she didn't even tell the people in her house, like her own family, that she was going out when she did it. She just went out and buried him. But nobody knows where, and she won't say.
Okay.
So that's interesting.
So
Also, Jim Morrison's still alive.
Jim Morrison's still alive.
Dun, dun.
Tupac's still alive.
He's just in Cuba. The other one that Avril Lavigne committed suicide in 2003. So Avril Lavigne really hated the paparazzi, and back
She really loved that
early
skater boy.
2003, she really loved the skater boy. She
Said, "See
hired
ya
this
later,
girl.
boy."
She hired this girl named
She also didn't like my girlfriend. She said she said that I needed a new one.
yeah. They hired this
No,
girl
it's not
Melissa
weird.
Van Dale to play her stunt double, so the paparazzi would follow her around.
Paparazzi.
And they think that she committed suicide in 2003. Her record label was like, "We still want to keep milking this cash cow. You look like Avril Lavigne. You can do the same stuff she can do. You're Avril Lavigne now." Stevie Wonder can see.
Yeah, that's
Stevie
I-
Wonder can.
that is an
see.
interesting
would
one.
love to talk about this right now.
There are so many videos of people
My
that
favorite.
have been interviewed about Stevie, and like one, I forget who it was, but literally Stevie was driving his truck at some point.
Oh yeah, he was like backing it out of the driveway
Yeah.
and made it back into the spot. The
No,
other
no,
one,
like in a parking garage. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
the other video was Stevie Wonder's on stage singing "Hey" or is it "Hey Jude" with Paul.
It is, and then he
Yeah.
catches
Yeah,
the mic
and-
stand.
Paul runs in front of him and kicks the mic stand to try to get to the piano, and Stevie, without like doing anything, just reaches out and grabs it. And
Bro,
fixes
he
it.
can see.
Also,
He can
at
see.
other points, I don't know who the people that interviewed. If you're interested, just go on YouTube and look up, Stevie Wonder can see. There would be tons of videos. And also, this isn't making fun of Stevie Wonder or blind people. This is just a really interesting
conspiracy
theory.
theory.
It's a conspiracy theory. So we're not trying to, hurt anyone's reputation or anything. But one person was saying they were playing on a stage with Stevie, or they were playing on stage and it was like a group event. And Stevie came on stage, walked straight up to the guy and said, "Hey," and then whoever his name was, I
Shaq.
forget.
It was Shaq.
Shaq.
Was it?
It was
Yeah, 'cause
Shaq.
he
I
said-
remember
he
this.
Said, "Hey Shaq, Big Daddy."
Oh yeah, he's a Shaq, Big Daddy. And then he went and sat at the piano. How would he know that?
No,
he's
the thing
right
is,
there
like,
on the stage.
The thing is, like, on any, like, a lot of these compilation clips are from talk shows and things like that, like
Yeah.
British talk shows and like Conan and stuff like that. And
Conan.
it was so funny because, like, every time the host asked them, it's like, "So you hung out with Stevie Wonder?" The first thing, the first thing
No.
the first thing
Okay,
that he asks when they hang out with Stevie Wonder, he's like, "Oh, how was it? How was hanging out with Stevie?" He goes, "Man, Stevie can fucking see." Is the first thing they say, like, every time. Like, "Man, Stevie's not blind." I find that so
And they all have
funny.
stories where he's doing things that blind people shouldn't be doing.
Whoa.
And can
Whoa,
do it.
whoa,
I'm talking about driving a car. All right. They can still do it, but they should not be.
Okay.
Hold on. The other one is
You
that
have another one.
Eminem
Is multiple,
is multiple people.
I don't believe you.
Like the real Slim Shady died,
No.
and they just keep replacing him.
No.
There's another one that someone was cloned, but I can't remember.
Sound like a bitch.
Here's another one. Here's
Shut
another
the
one that I
fuck
have on my
up.
phone. If I can pull it up. Oh my gosh.
I honestly
I
think
Googled
that
something and now it's not there.
I honestly
Thank you, Aldous.
I don't know. I like to think that like I would
What do you
like to
think, Ondas?
I'd like to think that like Jake's
Oh,
saying like
yeah.
the multiple people theory about musicians. I think that's not true. I'd really like to hope like the media or something is not controlling it to like make money. I really hope that it's the same person.
Yeah, you'd hope, but like,
Yeah.
You never know,
it
but like
could.
at
the
same time-
reason
with
that
all
it's
the-
conspiracy theory is
Oh,
because
they
it would make sense.
I
Are you
know.
talking about Eminem? I didn't.
Yeah,
hear.
Eminem.
They said that he was actually killed because something to do with the Illuminati. Yeah.
You think
He was-
Eminem was a part of the Illuminati?
No, he didn't want to be, so they killed him.
Morgan, please stop.
What does that sound like to you? For the listeners who aren't on YouTube, what do you think that is? Keys?
Bones
Car keys.
rattling.
Keys?
All right, so here's one.
Bones?
Here's a good one. Lewis Carroll, who, if you don't know, was the author of Alice in Wonderland and the books that he based them on.
Depp.
Yes.
Johnny.
They say that Lewis Carroll was Jack the Ripper.
That's sick.
Wait, what?
That's really cool.
So I'm
When
just
were the
going to
books
read what this
written?
says. This is from vulture.com. It's just like a list of pop culture things. This says, what was Lewis Carroll, author of Alice in Wonderland, doing while the notorious serial killer Jack the Ripper committed the murders that made him famous? Committing
That's-
murders,
that's
says
a
Richard
close-up.
Wallace,
That's gonna
author
be a
of Jack the
close-up.
Ripper, light-hearted friend. Wallace makes his case through anagrams found in Carroll's books, The Nursery, Alice, an adaptation of his classic story for children, and the novel Sylvie and Bruno, both written at the time that Jack did his ripping. Jack did his ripping.
I've never heard it.
I've never heard
that.
anyone
Hey,
say
he's
it
a
like
ripper.
that.
He's got to do some ripping.
Jack's got to do some ripping.
I feel bad for everybody. Shout out to anyone who was murdered by Jack the Ripper. I'm so sorry.
Theory is less than conclusive. The decoded messages Wallace produces do not convincingly implicate Carroll, and calling the whole endeavor even further into question, he sometimes finds it necessary to alter the original text to make his anagram. At one point, Wallace chops 8 letters out of a 50-letter passage, creates a 42-letter anagram he's after.
Morgan, do you mind?
What?
Khloe Kardashian is O.J. Simpson's daughter. I'm not even saying anything on that one.
I do not know why, for the life of me, that was very hilarious, but it was.
Just leave it in.
Nah. Wait,
So-
where's the beer necklace?
Okay, so
I like the Jack the Ripper one.
I like the Jack the Ripper one. That was actually pretty
Just
interesting.
kidding.
That was off the beaten path. I like that.
What path was beaten? Man.
Oh, fuck that path up, dude.
I got one. Dwayne The Rock Johnson is actually a pebble.
Yo, I've heard
That's
this one
eroded.
too, and honestly, I believe it. Like, look at his head.
I fully believe it. I am actually I run the newsletter. Dwayne The Rock Johnson is
So,
a
like-
pebble.com.
Everyone.
.html.
You got any on, Dosh?
I got.
No one
I got a
ever
few.
asked you any questions.
Yeah.
No, we
How you
tried.
doing,
We're
buddy?
just bad at
We
it.
tried. Yeah, but we're doing good now. Why are you interrupted?
Do you want me to share mine?
Yes,
No.
please.
I
Thank
have
you.
just a couple that I've just known because I very like conspiracy theories. So this is
Look at the
good.
camera.
I very
So-
like conspiracy. They are my very favorite.
Oh God! Please stop. The one I want to talk about is a pretty big one that you guys have probably heard about. It's
I've heard of
I want your guys' opinions on it. So, do you guys think that Hitler?
Water is wet.
Do you guys think that Hitler committed suicide in the 1945, or do you think he fled to Argentina?
I don't believe he's still alive today because he'd be over
There's
100.
no way. Okay, we can.
but-
There's safe to say there's no way he's alive today. But
I
But he-
think it's plausible that he would have.
He might finna dip, you know?
I think he left. Because why would he?
And
Well,
why would the
If all
CIA?
presents that he could get back into power,
I'll present
even
the
after what he
facts.
did?
I'll present the facts. So that so-called was discovered. So when the Soviet Union got to Hitler's bunker, they found burned remains of 2 people. One DNA matched was Eva Braun for sure, which was Hitler's.
Eva.
What?
Eva.
He I don't think that's right. But I think it was Hitler. I think Eva Braun was like Hitler's cousin or something like that. She was related to him some way. Cousin and wife. He did some weird stuff. Anyway.
It was
You
the
did
40s.
some weird stuff.
It was the 40s. Ladies and gentlemen, Anach Fabian, Hitler did some weird stuff.
Well, anyway, what it was
God.
was they found the burnt remains and they DNA tested for Eva Braun and they came back female.
Do you want a fire
But they
extinguisher?
tested the one. They tested the one that was the. They tested the other body that was supposed to be Hitler, and they thought it was Hitler for the longest time. And they even put it in a museum in Moscow, saying, this is Hitler's skull, and this
Why
is
in
all that
Moscow?
because the Russians found it.
Where's this guy? Find his keepers, dude.
Finders keepers.
Exactly.
Losers,
Anyway,
weepers.
If I find some bones, I'm keeping them.
Anyway, what happened was basically
My own museum.
a scientist tested the skull that was supposedly Hitler's, and it was a female skull. There were 2 females. One of them was Eva Braun. The other was
I
just
tell
an.
skulls
Hitler
are
was
females.
actually a woman.
No, don't start that.
That's too much. But
Wait, how do they know if it's a female skull? When it's a
but
male
there was reportedly lots of Hitler sightings in Argentina, and because there were a lot of.
Sorry.
We get to my.
It's just a blurry picture of like a piece of hair sticking out of a lake. He's like, I saw Hitler. Look.
All right, go.
But anyway, there were Nazi cells in Argentina and things like that. And I took a Hitler's Germany course at Bonwalls, and we talked about this. I brought it up. I was like, I looked at the professor. I'm like, do you think he escaped? And without like hesitating, he's like, no, he didn't. He was dead. He got killed.
Who said that?
Wait, fuck. Who said that?
My professor.
Your professor was part of the conspiracy.
No.
He's in the Illuminati.
So
Your professor said
I'd like to ask you guys this next conspiracy.
Your professor is.
Do you
the
guys?
Illuminati.
Okay, hold on. Do you
Is-
guys think the moon landing was real?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was real, but okay, so what I read was that it was real, but some technician there accidentally recorded over the tape, doing something else, not knowing which tape it was because it was mislabeled.
I think that was just a
then
really
they
bad brain fart, honestly.
recorded. They did do a fake one, but they actually went to the moon. I believe they actually went to the moon.
I
'cause
believe it
that's
too.
Like,
That's the one I wanted to bring that up because that's one that a conspiracy theory I don't believe in, or like that's like it's very easily debunked. I think because like the U.S. government spent millions and millions of dollars to fund the program to get to the moon. Like there's no
means
way
nothing
that
to the government when our money doesn't actually exist.
exactly.
Yeah, that's hurtfully true.
Literally is nothing.
Damn, that's kind of intense.
I like how Andosh is the only
get a
one
whole
who's got like
$50
a
in my hand.
crazy sun spot right now.
Yeah, no. For the
Look,
folks on
he's-
YouTube, you can probably see it,
his
but the
face is
listeners are
probably
on
glared.
Spotify. It's literally like in my eyes.
We should have put the poster over the
Intern
window.
Mason, can
It's
you
that
fix
one.
that?
Intern Mason, fix the window.
Oh.
Oh.
That's why we pay him the big bucks.
I'm not even getting paid.
You guys
How
are
many
getting paid.
how many episodes in a row can we make that?
Higher.
Mason, that's gotta be higher.
Ow, it's like blinding.
I'm blinded.
I came to
Copyright.
dance,
Copyright.
dance, dance.
Good boy,
No,
good boy,
it's all
good boy,
30
good boy,
seconds.
good boy.
It's all 30 seconds. It's fine.
We can
Fair
sing
use.
30 seconds of a song.
Oh wait, really?
We should
I have
sing
no
30
idea.
seconds of
I have
different
no idea.
songs.
I think it's less than. I think it's like 10 seconds.
It's
Coming
probably-
out of my cage.
Karma Chameleon.
I'm trying to
And
think
she's
of,
calling a cab.
I'm trying to think of like
Go back and forth between 2 songs for 10 seconds. They can't get you.
No, I'm pretty sure if you.
so have you guys seen The Irishman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Unfortunately, it was like
Oh.
3.5 hours long.
It was actually a really good movie, but
Good
the-
movie,
the stuff
but
I want to
long.
talk about is when I was talking to my dad about this episode.
Wait, was your dad in The Irishman?
No. But I was talking to my dad about the
Is your dad the Irishman?
No, but I want to talk about it because The Irishman.
I thought he was from Hungary.
I'm hungry.
I have Mexican food in the car.
Oh, Happy Cinco de Seis.
Sit.
Anyway.
that was Happy 5 to 6. Happy 5 of 6. Yeah, that's 5 of 6.
It's 6 de Mayo.
It would
Seis
be
de
Happy
Mayo.
6 de Mayo. De Marti.
Well,
I never took
My-
Spanish.
The Jimmy Hoffa theory
was never
is
given a name.
what I talked to my dad about, and he believes that Jimmy Hoffa is somewhere. Doesn't know where, but he believes.
I
I never
forgot.
watched
Can
the
you
movie, so I don't know.
can you remind me what happened to Jimmy Hoffa?
So I can't do it with you breathing that heavy. Jimmy, do you actually want me to remind you?
Yes, I would like
Yes.
to know. I don't know.
Okay,
this.
so Jimmy Hoffa was essentially the leader of a workers' union, and
Oh.
he had a lot of ties within the Irish and Italian mob
Oh, I just thought of a good one.
at the time. And supposedly, the last place he was seen was at a restaurant in California or something like that, and he got 60s, like 70s-ish era. I don't know the exact date. And he reportedly just went missing without a trace. And spoiler alert for anybody who haven't seen The Irishman. The Irishman is about
Ashman.
Frank whatever his name. I think it's Frank Costello.
Ondash is
Literally-
the ass man.
Is literally his name.
To my daughter's wedding.
And then
Babe, stick.
and then the story is about this guy who
You
supposedly
help my family?
it was a
You
hitman
get
for
hurt.
this mafia at the time, and he killed Jimmy Hoffa.
Why?
That's the
That's the movie.
that's the movie.
I didn't watch that movie, but he said it's like 3 hours long.
It is
so I don't know.
very
Yeah,
long.
Goes
What
by
are those
quicker than you
wires
think.
Sticking out of your guitar,
Where?
they're like touching your head. Oh,
Those
is that
are-
where you wired up the smoke bomb?
Well, no, that's another guitar. Those were So all right, random tangent, but Eddie Van Halen, who this guitar is based off, this is a thing I did of his Frankenstrat, but then it didn't work because the bridge kind of fell in pieces. But he wanted to trick people. You know, people kept trying to copy Eddie Van Halen because it's Eddie Van Halen and he's amazing. But originally this was white and black, and then people kept copying that, and then he painted it red. And originally it had one pickup in it, just a bridge pickup and a volume knob. But then people kept trying to copy it, so he put a tone knob on it, which he could have just had all along, and then one pickup here, and then he put a fake single coil up here that wasn't attached to anything, and a fake 5-way switch here, which also wasn't attached to anything, but he made it look like it was attached. I just took it out because I wanted to use the pickup, and it was originally just a bridge pickup, so just to throw off people who were trying to copy him, he threw in a bunch of other things that weren't actually hooked up, but it looks cool.
I'd like to talk about the birds aren't real theory.
Yeah.
Hold on, I got one to bring up. That's
The entire
quick.
coronavirus was started because the government was replacing the batteries in the birds. Go ahead, sorry.
I like the movie.
So before we get to
Midsommar.
birds,
You want to get into the
Marilyn
bees?
Monroe was killed for sleeping with JFK.
Yeah.
JFK was
She
killed.
wasn't. She didn't die.
Happy
Of,
birthday, Mr.
Just turn 'em down.
President.
Wait, I've never heard about this.
you didn't know that?
Marilyn Monroe.
So
Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe supposedly.
Not from
I had
time.
another stroke. All right. So Marilyn Monroe said she died because of a pill overdose.
She said she died
Yeah.
because of a pillow.
She told
No,
me.
it was
guys.
in a press
Guys,
release. Yeah.
guys.
She was like, I died because of a pill
We're
overdose.
just friends, okay?
Hey. So, but they think that the CIA.
Marilyn Monroe shot JFK.
So, so here's the thing.
Okay, hold on.
From the window, from the top of a building.
Okay, so you know how like in the movie Killing Kennedy, like there's a tracking shot of it going through the sniper barrel, and it's just Lee Harvey Oswald face. What if it's that, but it's just Marilyn Monroe at the end of the barrel?
It's all five. It's all the Spice Girls sitting in the window.
JFK was going to come out about him and Marilyn Monroe going out and sleeping together. And so then after faking her death, because he forced her to, she learned that he was going to do this. So then she murdered him.
I don't think.
Well, the real thing.
Bruh.
I'm just making this up.
So-
I
That's
don't know.
interesting.
I thought you were saying something real.
Bobby
You think-
Kennedy
okay,
shot
so-
JFK,
so
and then
you're
JFK shot Bobby Kennedy after he came back to life.
So
He was a sleeper agent.
you're telling me that
Snorlax, could you just fucking
So-
calm down?
you're
Beer lax. Beer mixed with laxatives. Gets you drunk, helps you shit.
Our sponsor for this episode is
Play Beer Lax.
That's our own company.
so
The talkative lunch. The talkative.
So-
we should do that. We should just eat lunch and be talkative.
That's what I'm about to do next episode.
I'm about to.
I keep going. Wait, who's talking?
What was I talking about? So basically
Melissa
the whole
McCarthy.
Cell phone towers,
Paul
5G.
McCartney is actually Ringo Starr's son.
Of the angels.
That's more than 10 seconds.
Yeah, but the last part was like.
But that's in the ASPCA commercial, so we can leave it in. It makes people think of
I have a
song.
question. What were you saying?
For just pennies
Was
a
that
day.
the question?
Birds.
bees.
We're talking
Battlestar
about
Galactica.
I think that obviously, birds are real, but
Go fuck yourself. Buddy.
I
You ever take a bird apart?
really love
Mechanical.
I really love the theory that birds aren't real. Though.
All right. Here's
Okay.
the thing. Yeah. So.
Why you so close to the mic?
You're the one who keeps telling us to move away from our mics.
He's never said that.
He's never said that. He's literally never said that. That's
Fucking touch
conspiracy.
the mic, I swear to God.
Do you guys want to come up with this big conspiracy theory? Just like
I have
I
come
made
up
up
with
that
like
one.
8
I made
literally
up
during us talking.
no, like a fake one.
He's come
Well,
up
you
with like
already
4
said it
fake
was
ones.
fake, so they wouldn't know.
Oh well.
Everybody,
Basically, Andash is going to be killed. All right. It's a conspiracy theory. We just don't know who's going to do it.
Conspiracy theory. Andash is straight.
All right, we're going to play a game. Whoever can guess which one of us is the sleeper agent and can guess our key phrase, we will give you $10,000.
That's our giveaway. Yes, we do, dude.
What if one of us is?
your question if we're the sleeper agent. Oh, okay.
So comment down below
If
Or-
you're on YouTube,
on YouTube or Spot. I don't know what you're gonna do if you're.
Don't forget to follow our socials.
Follow
Follow the
socials.
socials.
At Talkative Bunch, literally everything. At the. Is it the? Or is it just
Isn't
Talkative
it?
Bunch?
The
Andash,
Talkative
did you
Bunch.
change it on Twitter? No,
Oh
he
my
didn't. He
gosh.
didn't.
He'll do it. Don't do it right now.
Why not?
'Cause
It
we're,
will
we're
be
in the
the
middle of
Talkative
one of the
Bunch.
supposed to be serious episodes, and we've already fucked it.
No, it's not fucked.
No,
No,
Okay, there's like 2 parts
we
where
still
we got
gotta joke
super
a little.
derailed.
I mean,
But
it's
I mean, it was all on.
It's all
we ended in the right space.
Yeah.
right.
And this is the end of the episode. What?
So-
How much we got?
How long is it?
It's been 50 minutes.
All right, that's a good stopping
Perfect.
point.
Follow all our socials. If you're on YouTube, the links will be in the description. Are you putting the links in the description?
Yeah.
We'll put our usernames in the descriptions because
Of YouTube, I don't control the other
Yes,
stuff.
of YouTube. We can't put it in the other stuff. Check us out on Spotify.
We've been
and
the Spice Girls.
the whole time.
The whole time.
We're Spice Girl sleeper agents.
I think
And
we're gonna
we
end
all
it
kill
with
JFK.
5, 6, 7, 8. If you wanna be my lover, gotta
That's
get
right.
with my
Top
friends.
three.
Thank you for watching.
Like and like.
Like and subscribe and comment and share with everybody. You
This
know.
has been
Okay,
the
thank
Talkative
you.
Bunch.
Ah!
See ya.
So you're probably wondering what the Talkative Bunch uses to record our podcast. We use Anchor. Anchor is 100% free. There's creation tools that allow you to edit and add things to your audio directly in the programming. And above all else, Anchor distributes your podcast to literally everywhere, like Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and just stuff like that. Anchor is really, really awesome, and the Talkative Bunch uses Anchor, and it's perfect. So, if you guys want to start your own podcast, go to anchor.com, Anchor FM, or download the free Anchor app. Once again, go to anchor.com, go to Anchor FM, or download the free Anchor app to get started.